Hello everyone, and welcome to Oracle University On Demand training, session called Forecast Tree in Demand Management. My name is Dina Jacobs. I'm Senior Principal Product Manager with Supply Chain Planning Customer Direct Program. After completing this module, you should be able to explain the purpose of forecast levels in forecast tree, summarize forecast tree traversing, relate forecast accuracy to forecast tree, and create and reconstruct forecast tree. Here are our topics for today. We will be covering the demand management analytical forecast tree topics. We will start with a very quick overview what is the demand management forecast tree and the data organization within the forecast tree. Then we will move to the demand management forecast tree setup. We will discuss various rules for constructing the demand management forecast tree, such as level precedence, and we will conclude the session with how the demand management forecast tree table layout is converted into the demand forecast levels. As I mentioned, the first topic I would like to cover is an overview of the demand management forecast tree. The configuration and functionality explained in this session is relevant to users working with SAP Demand Management License and is not applicable for Planning Central. Forecast tree is used to generate forecasts at different levels and may vary by item and location. For example, item and organization or product and customer. Based on forecast tree configuration in the forecast profile and data inputs, forecasts can be produced at one of several levels. It is important to know where and how often forecast aggregation occurs. This information is critical in understanding the forecast itself and can drive customers to take actions to reduce the number of combinations with an aggregated forecast. We jump into our next topic, how historical data is organized in a forecast tree. As we mentioned before, level at which forecast is generated can vary from combination to combination. Most combinations should get forecasted at the first attempted level, that is minimum forecast level. But there are times where data quality is poor or it is difficult to explain variation in history and forecast is generated at more aggregate level. Let's look what we just said using illustrations of forecast tree in front of us. Forecast tree organizes data for demand forecasting process. Each node in the forecast tree aggregates both by item and by location. The following example shows a small part of forecast tree. At the lowest level, on the left leaf of this forecast tree, we have the same item at different location. SKU 003 at store A, SKU 003 at store B, and SKU 003 at store C. Depending on our forecast tree configuration, the data can be aggregated by item or by location using some function. In this example, the item stays the same, and we aggregate by location to region AA that consists of store A, store B, and store C. In a nutshell, the forecast tree determines which item's location aggregation nodes the demand engine will work on. Forecast tree is a system configuration that has a direct bearing on the forecast accuracy. From the experience with many customers that complain about forecast accuracy, the first question I will ask if they reviewed their forecast tree before running Demand Management Analytical Engine and at what level the forecast was calculated. This is one of the first setups that need to be done by customer after careful analysis of the sales history and after discussion with business users. The forecast levels in the forecast tree should be meaningful to the business users. It is useful for the forecast tree to include the level on which accuracy is measured if possible. Let's gear to our next topic, forecast tree setup. The data aggregation levels at which forecast is attempted are derived from the layout of the table provided to forecast profile parameter, forecasting table. The table definition are used to determine which is the first aggregation level, will be used and which subsequent levels will be used. In addition, the input and output measures available for the profile will be based on this table. The data aggregation level at which combinations forecast is generated is stored in a measure specific to that forecasting profile. A value of 1 denotes the first aggregation level, 2 is the next higher level, and so on. Let's drill further and learn about forecast tree tables. Moving to practical configurations. There are two predefined engine profiles, booking history and shipment history profiles, which have their corresponding predefined forecast tree tables. For booking profile, there is a predefined forecast bookings definitions table, and for shipment profile, there is a predefined forecast shipments definitions table. Those tables cannot be modified. In order to modify forecast tree table, seeded forecast definition table should be saved as a new table. A forecast tree is configured by modifying layout of the UI table. After user created a new table, user can modify forecast tree by modifying y-axis item and location levels and save the configuration. To use this new forecast tree, user will need to add table to user-defined profile. We will demonstrate later on in our session. Let's gear to a quick demonstration creating forecast table. We open Demand Management application and we will start with opening predefined table. Using search box in the name criteria, I typed percentage definitions percentage and click search. The search returned multiple tables with two predefined tables that we had discussed before: forecast bookings definitions and forecast shipment definitions. Let's open forecast booking definitions table. Now, if I want to create my own user-defined forecast tree, then I will save seeded table with save table as and give a new name starting training. Each seeded table has a description and group. We will keep as is. Click Save and Edit. In the table configuration, we have measures, hierarchies, members. For my forecast configuration, I need to use layout. This is a regular table like any other tables with actions and views. To modify forecast tree, I will move levels on y-axis. Let me make some space so I can see my level names. We have category level 2, legal entity level, category level 1, organization, and item. These are our levels in forecast tree. Next, we will cover the dimension precedence in the forecast tree. Before I demonstrate how to configure forecast tree, I would like to explain the forecast level dimension precedence. Forecast tree configuration requires two dimensions, one from the item side and one from the location side. Only certain dimensions are valid in the forecast tree configuration. For forecast item level, the CTO and product, the only valid dimensions. CTO stands for configure to order. After the user has configured dimensions into predefined tables, the following precedence is utilized by application. If most left item level included in the table layout is from CTO dimension, then this forecast tree is only CTO related. If not, application will check for product dimensionality. And if it's false, application will use all items dimensionality for the item levels. The same logic applies for the location dimension. This is a flow that defines what dimension takes precedence in location dimension. If none of the above dimension, CTO, product, customer, or organization exists in the forecast tree, then the forecast tree will not be created and the analytical engine will fail. Another constraint we need to be aware of is that the forecast tree must include at least 3 effective forecast levels. So we need to make sure we are accounting for that when building our tree. Let's move to the last but not the least important topic of this session: deriving forecast tree from table layout. During this topic, we will have some demo to show and apply the forecast tree theory we've learned. I took a snapshot of the layout of the seeded forecast table that we saw in the previous demo. In this screenshot, we have valid forecast tree dimensions that are product and organization. The forecast tree is constructed based on the order of the levels in the y-axis of the table layout. Levels defined on the x-axis are ignored by a forecast tree. Time-related levels cannot and should not be part of the forecast tree. Our levels from product hierarchy, category level 2, category level 1, item, our levels from the organization hierarchy, legal entity, organization. The construction process of the forecast tree goes top-down and always starts with a fictive level, where no forecast is done, aka top level. Item is all and location is all. Then we start moving from the left outer side towards the inner level, and at each step going one level down the forecast tree, replacing either an item or a location level. The first most outer level in our forecast tree is an item aggregation level, category level 2. The application will replace the level on the item side with the category level 2. Now we move to the second most left level and add this level to the forecast tree. Since the next level is a location level legal entity, it will replace location level all in the forecast tree. In our next forecastable level is category level 2 legal entity. The process will keep this operation all the way to the innermost level on the y-axis. Category level 1 is an item level. Our next forecast tree level is category level 1 legal entity. As we see, item and location levels are substituted one at a time, depending on the level on the y-axis. Moving along the y-axis, our next forecast level is category level 1 organization. And the last, or actually first, forecast level is item organization. Since we reached the most inner right side of the layout, means our forecast tree is complete. As we can see, there are 5 effective forecast levels, starting from the minimum forecast level of item organization and all the way up to the maximum forecast level of item category level 2, all location level. The order of the levels in the forecast tree is important. If you change the order of levels, it will result in the change of the forecast tree. Let's gear to a quick demonstration of how we can modify our forecast table and how it will affect our forecast tree to consolidate our understanding. Let's start by opening our just created table. Open table. In the search criteria, we enter training as part of our table name and click search. Select our table Training Forecast Booking Definitions and click OK. To modify our forecast tree, we need to modify table's layout via Actions, Configure Table. Click on Layout tab. Let's format our columns so we can see our forecast level names. Now let's move item level before organization level. As I mentioned before, the order of the levels in the forecast table layout is important. If the user changes the order of levels, it will result in a change of a forecast tree itself. In our demo, we changed the order of the levels, item and organization. We moved item level to the left of organization level, and the impact of the layout modification affected level 2 in our forecast tree. Item, legal entity. Another important note that might create an issue that customer didn't intend to do during constructing forecast tree is placing more aggregated level in the table layout in the inner side of y-axis, meaning to the right. For example, placing legal entity level to a more inner side of the y-axis than organization level. In case of the above, the forecast tree will simply ignore this more aggregated level legal entity. I've seen a SARS where customer asks why legal entity level was ignored in the demand forecast. Let us look at a more detailed example. We continue with demonstration, placing more aggregated level in the forecast tree layout to a more inner y-axis. Let's modify our forecast tree with more drastic changes. Let's go back to our forecast tree's layout. Move item level all the way before category level 2. And let's move legal entity level to right after category level 1. From left to right, our levels are category level 2, item, category level 1, legal entity, organization. Save and close. In this illustration, the levels are aligned in the following order: category level 2, item, category level 1, legal entity, organization. Constructing the forecast tree will result in the following. Application starts with the all as fictive level, moving from left to right. Then the category level 2 changes on the item side. So next level is category level 2 all. In the next step, there is an item level. So again, a change on the item side, and all is still on the location side. The next level is category level 1. This is more aggregative level than the item level, and as such, it is completely ignored. The forecast tree structure then have two changes on the location side. First, legal entity, and after that, organization. In the next demo, I would like to go over how to run demand engine with forecast tree. This will cover creating a new forecast profile. Let's log into demand management. Click Tasks, Configuration, click Manage Forecasting Profiles. We create new user-defined forecasting profile based on predefined profile forecast booking profile. Click Actions, Duplicate. We give our unique name, Training of Forecast Booking. Click OK. This is our newly created forecasting profile. Each profile can have its own forecasting methods, decomposition groups, and forecasting parameters. In this demo, I focused on forecasting table, and I want to search for newly created forecast tree. Table name starts with training. I select training forecast booking definitions table. Now our profile is configured to run with user-defined profile. Click Save and Close. I have an error missing input and output measures for the forecasting profile. We input final booking history as input measure and booking forecast as output measure to the new profile. Save and close. Now we gear to our next demonstration, attaching forecast profile to analytical engine run. To create a new plan, I will duplicate existing. We use copy type, copy plan with reference to base plan. I give new name to the plan training plan, save and close. We copied plan. Now I will open a new plan we created using search. Select plan and edit plan options. To configure my new profile, I select Demand tab. Under Forecast Profiles, click Add. There is a list of available profile. Save and run. In the Run window, we expand details. Select Training of Forecast Bookings profile. Click OK. Let's summarize our session. In this module, you should have learned how to explain the purpose of forecast levels in the forecast tree, summarize forecast tree traversing, relate forecast accuracy to forecast tree, create and reconstruct forecast tree. This ends our session. Thank you for your time.